starting with Long Beach, California. This is Randy. Remember, GOP only this first hour opposes the policy. Randy, you're up first. Go ahead.
Yes, I feel that I really feel these innocent children, they really shouldn't suffer because of a law that we have in place, whether it's Democratic or Republican. We really should just care about the children, and maybe we should build the wall. I mean, I really think that's what Trump went on, and we should build the wall. Why we're $20 trillion in debt? Another couple $100 billion is really nothing. I think we should do it.
Even if you don't support what's happening with the children, what about this idea of zero tolerance? How supportive of you are that? Are you of that?
Well, I'm not for zero tolerance at all because we were able to do this before during President Obama and President Bush, and I really think we should not have zero tolerance.
A supporter of the policy. This from Buckingham, Virginia. Douglas, good morning. You are next. Go ahead.
I support the zero tolerance to the point that this has been the law of the land forever. People that get caught robbing banks, when they sentence them, we don't ask them, where's your children at? Who's going to take care of your children? All we do is send them to jail. And if you break the law, you are required to pay the price.
What about the treatment of the children currently? What do you think about that?
Do what now?
What do you think about the treatment of the children on the borders currently? What should be done specifically about that now?
We need to put their parents to a place that they can't get out of, and they got to take care of their own children. I had to take care of mine.
That's Douglas in Buckingham, Virginia. The Wall Street Journal this morning, their editorial, the GOP's immigration meltdown. Some of what they have to say, saying the immediate solution should be for the administration to end zero tolerance until it can be implemented without dividing families. Congress can also act to allow migrants to be detained with children in facilities appropriate for families. Until that is possible, better to release those who have no criminal past rather than continue forced separation. This episode underscores the larger GOP dysfunction as it debates how to deal with the former immigrant children known as Dreamers. The threat of Dreamer deportation isn't imminent while the courts consider Barack Obama's legalization order and Donald Trump's revocation of that order, but it is sure to return with urgency next year. A supporter of zero tolerance, Deltona, Florida. This is Pat. Good morning, Pat. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning. This is all on the parents. They should be keeping their kids as close to home as possible in safety. They shouldn't be coming across 2 or 3 countries and coming across our borders illegally.
So the children currently being detained, what do you think about what you've heard and seen over the last couple of days of the way they're being?
They should be packed on a bus and taken back across the border, and it's not our problem. They should be taken back across so that they have to come across at a legal checkpoint.
The couple of photos this morning, this is from Tornillo, Texas, courtesy of the Wall Street Journal this morning, of some of the tents that where immigrant children are currently being held. At least that is there in Texas in the Wall Street Journal. If you go to the Washington Post this morning, this is near McAllen, Texas, one of the inside of the U.S. Customs Border Protection, showing children at the detention center there, just to give you some of the images of how those children are being treated. Again, this is a result of the zero tolerance policy that the administration put into place, and getting your thoughts on that. You heard from Pat in Florida. This is Alfred in California, also a supporter of the policy.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my phone call. You know, I support the zero tolerance because, first of all, they're blaming President Trump. This all started with Bush, Clinton, and Obama. Obama's the one that created this monster. And all President Trump is doing is enforcing the immigration law. First of all, these children, I feel bad for them, but it's turning into Europe, like refugee camps. People need to wait in line, and what they're doing is just blaming President Trump for this. It was Obama that started this.
Yeah,
and if you look back at the history in regards to Obama, Obama's the one that did this, and nobody said anything about it.
But zero tolerance is a product of this administration, though.
Exactly, because the fact is that Obama's the one that started this, And all they did was put a blind eye. And look what's happening now. Now it's becoming like a refugee camp. That's not what America's about. I mean, I don't have a problem with people coming to this country, but coming the right way.
Also a supporter, Tin in Pennsylvania. You're next up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that I support the zero tolerance policy. And as far as the kids being ripped apart from their families, these kids don't have it so good where they came from. They're being housed, clothed, fed. They're being given medical treatment, everything. Welcome to America, buddy. This is how it is.
But what about the idea that they're separated, though, even if they're getting all that?
Well, listen, if I break the law, I'm going to be separated from my parents. If a parent brings their child in here illegally, they're going to be separated from their parents. What part don't you understand, Pedro?
What is it about the zero tolerance policy that you like most?
Well, I like the fact that he's enforcing the law. If you don't like the law, change the law. It's not complicated.
It was the former home policy. Barbara in New Hampshire, a supporter of it. Hello.
Yes, I have. Thank you for taking the call initially. Why are we so concerned about illegals when we have a huge homeless population? Who checks immunization records? Who checks background? Many children are coming without parents, and the ones that are coming with adults, who checks to see that they are their parents? There's no way that can be checked in the amount of time they have. There's a legal way we should enforce our laws where there is concern for the children. We need to be concerned about our children. We need to be concerned about our schools. We need to be concerned about the cost to this country. They need to change the laws.
Okay, let's go to Kelly in Alabama, also a supporter of the policy. Hi.
I don't think I probably could have said it any better than the lady just did, but I do want to add a few things because what she said was exactly right on. And I've noticed, thank you for taking my call, I have noticed that the uproar right now has to do with people that are not even from this country. How many children in this country have been separated from their parents because of a crime that their parents did, and yet you don't get to go live with your parent in jail? I mean, really. And now the uproar and everything that a child is being separated from their parent, and the lady was right. How do you know that who's bringing them over the border wasn't a smuggler, a trafficker, and everything, and we're just supposed to let them go out into the United States and live with this person just because they claim they're your child?
Is there a possibility that policy could be created where the families get to stay together even if they're detained altogether? Is that something you could support?
Well, that would take a lot of money. I mean, no American loves seeing a child separated from their family, from their parents, their legitimate parents. I would love to be able to put them, but then y'all would just come back and say, they're living in a cage. Well, where are we supposed to put them? I mean, where are you going to put the family? In a home down in Brownsville? I mean, and let them stay together till they adjudicate through the immigration system? Who's going to pay for that?
The Wall Street Journal this morning has a short primer on the current policy and its effects, saying that what's the government's current policy? The Trump administration enacted a zero-tolerance approach to illegal border crossings into the U.S. by migrants, mostly from Central America, seeking asylum by pressing criminal charges against offenders. Why does that lead to separating families who are trying to get to the U.S.? Generally, parents and children are held together at the same Border Patrol processing facilities. They are separated when the parents are taken to a nearby federal courthouse for prosecution. The administration says it must separate parents from children because a long-standing federal court settlement known as the Flores Agreement bars the government from jailing migrant children. With the parents in court, the children are declared to be unaccompanied by the government, and arrangements are made to transfer them to the care of Health and Human Services Department. What do critics of the policy say? The critics are saying that separating children, including infants, from their parents is inhumane, and say there is nothing that currently legal requires migrant families to be separated while their cases are being pursued. They also asked the question, what happens to children who are separated? According to an HHS spokesperson, said the children are held in government's care either as a foster home or a group shelter for an average about 56 days. Advocates of most of the children typically help them apply for asylum or some other protection to stay in the United States. That's the Wall Street Journal. Another picture to show you. This is from Reuters this morning in the Washington Post of children of detained migrants. They're playing soccer outside of that encampment in Tornillo, Texas. Just one of the several pictures about those facilities where children are staying. To the larger issue of zero tolerance, that's what we're asking Republicans only in this hour. 202-748-8000 if you support it. 202-748-8001 if you oppose it. This is Josh, Benonsville, Illinois. Hi. Josh from Illinois, hello.
This is Gus.
You're on, go ahead.
Yes, I support the president and his policies. There's a simple way to end this immigration problem that nobody wants to talk about. Turn off the bird feeder. When you have a bird feeder and the birds are destroying your ports, you get rid of the bird feeder. We can't afford to support all these people. And what happens when they're here already? They go on aid, and we're paying for that. What you guys should be doing in the news is putting out every single day how much is spent on illegal immigration. The ones that are already here and are on aid, cut their aid by 5% a month. That gives them 20 months to either get the hell out of here or get a job or find a place. I don't care if they're here illegally or not, but what I care about is we're paying for them.
Okay, let's hear from someone. This is Andy, who opposes the policy. Andy from Alabama, from New York. Go ahead.
I think our celebrities should be careful about our dignity. Today I saw a worse situation of immigrants with their children in south of Mexico. They are in a cage with a plastic blanket. It is so bad for our standing in the world. Our celebrities and our first ladies like Michelle Obama and others have to ask the government to change their policy. All Trump enablers are complicit, and they must all atone. Bye-bye.
But what do we do with the children in the meantime?
This is the worst situation in South Mexico. They are in a cage, but unfortunately, we have to know they are human beings. They are animals. This is disastrous. This is disgusting.
That's Andy in New York. One of those critics from about this policy and what it has done to the children was the former First Lady of Laura Bush, another former First Lady. When Laura Bush tweeted out this thought was Michelle Obama, who only tweeted after that, sometimes truth transcends party. That's from her Twitter account. That's just some of the responses supporting and mainly criticizing the zero tolerance policy and the larger effect it's had on children that you've been hearing about the last couple of days. Laneda in Alabama, a supporter of the policy. You are next. Go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I want to say this. Christians are being criticized because we support this. It's not that I support the children being mistreated, but I see this all the time. We have people that come over here from over there, and they just keep having kid after kid after kid after kid. And then they whip out the WIC program vouchers and the food stamps and all this stuff. And then they go to their vehicle, and they drive better vehicles than I do, and I was born and raised here. Don't blame Trump for what's going on when the parents or somebody else, they're saying it's not always the parents that bring the kids over here, it's other people. Don't blame Trump for that. Blame the parents or whoever's bringing them over here. They got no business bringing them over here and dropping them off.
You started talking about the Christian approach to this. What do you think the response has been from the religious community on this?
Well, I've heard comments on MSNBC that the Christians are opposed to the policy because we are pro-life. We don't believe in abortion. We don't. But
We don't believe in parents having kids and bringing them over here and dropping them off either.
But
And
what
they're
about those?
attacking the
What about those kids currently being separated? Is there a Christian response to that? Do you think?
My feeling about that,
Mm-hmm.
the children that are already over here, sometimes pictures are deceiving. I can take a picture and I can make it what I want it to be. The children shouldn't be over here by themselves to start with. They shouldn't have been brought over here. That was wrong.
Okay, that's
We're not
Lenada.
responsible for this.
That's Lenada in Alabama. When it comes to the response from the